Hey guys, how's it going? This is going to be a dual review of Fall of Cybertron, Sideswipe, and Jazz. We can go ahead and get Jazz out of the way here since I still got Sideswipe in the box. Basically, he comes on a blister card since he's a deluxe. And you've got Sideswipe right there, his gun, various artwork. And on the back, you got his tech specs, some photos of the toy, and a little profile of Sideswipe. That's basically it. So that wraps up this guy in the box. So I'll be back in a flash, see what he's like when he's not in the box. Alright guys, here I have Sideswipe out of the package transformed into vehicle mode, and I've got his buddy Jazz in vehicle mode as well. And as you can see, they're both just Cybertronian sports cars. They roll fairly well. But I think out of the two, Jazz is kind of the better looking mold because I feel that he's very evocative of what he ends up looking like in G1. But he still looks Cybertronian. Because I think the way they did his front end is really kind of screams back to his normal G1 self. Anyway, I'll go ahead and just give you a close-up 360 of him. As you can see, there's a lot of molded detail on this guy. And he's a fairly good-looking toy overall. Now, the only real issue I got with this guy in vehicle mode here is the open back, and you can see his hands, and that really does detract from the look of the toy some. But since you're not looking at him from the back too much, it's not a huge issue. It's just something to be aware of. And of course, you can mount his weapon to him in vehicle mode. You can do it in two places. You can just pop it on the top of the roof, and he's got pegs here on the side. And you can peg it to the side. I think it looks a little bit better on his roof, so I'll just go ahead and peg that in. And there's Jazz. Go ahead and grab Sideswipe. Now, this is a fairly good looking mold in vehicle mode, but it doesn't exactly scream Sideswipe to me. And the reason for that is it really doesn't at all resemble, even in an abstract way, a Lamborghini Countach, which of course is what Sideswipe is in G1. It's just some random sports car. It doesn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination. It just doesn't scream Sideswipe to me, except for the coloring, of course. And of course, you can mount his weapon too. And it's kind of comically large, but I think it fits in with the overall tone of the video game fairly well, considering that they can drive around and shoot their guns while in vehicle mode. That's pretty much going to wrap up the vehicle mode portion of this review. I will be back in a flash to go over robot mode. Alright guys, here we have Sideswipe and Jazz in their respective robot modes. And as you can see, they look pretty darn similar since, you know, Sideswipe is a remold of Jazz. I'll just go ahead and start off with Jazz a little bit here. Just give you a 360 of them. They're okay looking in robot mode. They're not bad. And I'll go ahead and show off the articulation. It's the same on both of them. Doesn't really have anything going on in the foot, but of course can bend at the knee. Doesn't rotate at the knee. Top of the leg, forward, back, in, out. Rotation because we got a ball joint there. We got rotation at the shoulder. Bends at the elbow. And wrist rotation, and the wrist can go in. And we got head rotation. Overall, pretty standard, you know, articulation for deluxe modern deluxe transformer. But there are a few issues with this mold, and this is kind of honestly on both Jazz and Sideswipe. As you can see, we got a lot of hollow space there in the chest, which isn't too bad if you're looking at it directly on, but if you're just slightly not directly on, you can see all that hollowness, and that detracts from the look of it a little bit, in my opinion. It's not awful, but it's definitely some points against it. And like I said, overall, this mold just to me is just kind of okay. It's not bad. I mean, it's nice to have these guys to go along with your Fall / War for Cybertron collection. I mean, they fit in well. But, you know, overall, the mold is just kind of okay, you know. And I really like the fact that Sideswipe comes with a large gun. The only problem is it's so heavy that he can't really hold it in his hand. It just kind of flops right back down. But you can mount it on his arm. He's got a post right there you can plug it into. Oh, let me just make sure Sideswipe doesn't fall over here. And as you can see, he can hold it up fairly well like that. Doesn't really cause as many problems as when it's in his hand. Go ahead and give you a quick 360 of Sideswipe. And I have to say, I think Sideswipe looks somewhat better in this mode than Jazz does. I think he's somewhat better in robot mode. But like I said, overall, the mold is just kind of okay. But you know what? Like I said, if you already have a collection of Fall/War for Cybertron, pick these guys up. If not, feel free to give them a pass. Really, it's entirely up to you. I can't say that these toys are either great or terrible. They're just highly average. Anyway, that's pretty much going to wrap this whole thing up. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.